think you should. Yeah.
This video is going to come out a little bit later than I would rather have it come out to be. I would rather be able to upload this on Saturday because that's when I'm recording this. But instead, you're going to get it on Sunday. So, anyways, let's just hop into the episode. And it's episode 43, which is also season 3, episode 5. And the beginning of the episode starts off kind of like how, I would have thought it would have started out with anyways. So the episode pretty much starts with Deku, and he just used 1 for all 1 million Delaware Detroit Smash on Muscular, and it looked really cool. I've seen some mixed opinions. Some people were saying that it was better in the manga. Some people are saying that the anime did it better, but manga or anime, it's kind of indifferent in my opinion. I think both look really cool because I have seen a couple of pages from the manga because obviously I did look it up, of course. So I think both look cool, but I feel like with the addition of the music because of the anime, I might like that a little bit more because music has such a big impact on some scenes in anime, and that's just how I think. That's just how I think, I guess. But the episode starts off with that. We jump where we left off last week. The whole Muscular and Deku fight, and then next on this episode 43, the League of Villains are still attacking. They already got planned and set up, right? And so Deku has stuff that he needs to do. He says that to Kota, and he needs Kota to use his quirk, which is to, I guess, shoot out water, from his hands. That's what it looks like. I'm not really sure what it is, but he has traits from his mother and father, so it has something to do with water. And I really like how Deku is beat the fuck up. Like, he's beat the fuck up, dude. Like, seriously. Like, him using 1 for all 1 million Delaware Detroit Smash, it really fucked up his right arm, and even going 100%, quote unquote, actually really fucked up his body as well. And he's suffering the consequences, of course, because these injuries are putting so much strain on his body, but at least he can still somewhat move, and Kota makes note of that. And it almost seems like he wouldn't be able to move, and then Deku's just like, well, that's why I left my leg, so I can move around. So we get back to the scene that we didn't get to see the rest of, and that was Dabi and him fighting Eraserhead. We didn't know what else happened after he had used that flame attack, and shocker, Eraserhead erases his quirk, or he stops it, and then he traps him. And then after a couple of the students get to like the center that Dabi and Eraserhead were fighting at. I'm sorry if you hear any background noise. My dad was walking around in the hallway, and I guess he's on the phone, so I apologize if you hear any of that. But it turns out the Dabi that Eraserhead was fighting, Eraserhead thinks that isn't his quirk, but it turns out it's actually the quirk of another villain, and that villain's name is Twice. And it looks like his quirk is he can create an entirely different clone of somebody else, or maybe also himself. So Deku finally meets up with Eraserhead, and he drops off Kota, and he's trying to tell him that he needs to get him somewhere safe. And Eraserhead tells Deku that he needs to, get out a message to all the students. And basically, the telepath lady, whose name I can't remember, I apologize for being ignorant about it, but basically he tells her to tell everybody else that Eraserhead says that all the students can officially attack all the villains who are in the facility in the area, so they can go into combat, basically, right? So, and I like how they show us a scene that Kota is actually really worried about Deku, because basically his exposition is that he didn't really agree with the heroes or villains because his parents fucking died from a villain, etc., etc. It was actually Muscular that killed his parents. So actually hit closer to home last week when, if you did see the last week's episode. So, and now he's seeing someone who isn't, a certified hero like Razorhead, but he still like risked his life to, protect them. And he's really worried and if he's going to be okay or not because of his injuries, of course. And, Razorhead pretty much just assures him that it's, he's not going to go down that easily. And he has main character plot armor, so he's not going to fucking die. We all know that for sure. So, or maybe later on in the future he will. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But right now in the series, he has main character plot armor, so he'll be okay. So, all of that comes about. Everyone's being, told that they can, go into combat. They can fight the villains. But Muscular, this is actually said in the beginning of the episode by Deku, is, because his arms were so, beat up and shit, and they were all, bruised, broken and stuff. The punch from his 1 million Delaware Detroit Smash wasn't as powerful as it could have been if his arm was, like, fully healed, for example, right? So Muscular is unconscious, but he may or may not be able to get back up, or rather, he can't move. That's what he said. I'm remembering. It's been a couple of minutes, or about like 30 minutes since I've watched the episode, so I'm having a little bit of trouble remembering stuff that happened. But Muscular is unconscious, and he may or may not be able to move, depending. Not really sure. But the villain's target is Bakugo, and I'm not entirely sure why, but actually, I think the League of Villains are going after him because they see that he kind of has evil intent because of just how his personality is, but Bakugo wants to be a hero, and I think the League of Villains, I forget what, the kind of the main character of the League of Villains is, the guy with the hand on his face. I forgot his name. I apologize for not remembering and being ignorant about it, but he's trying to go after Bakugo and potentially probably get him to join the League of Villains. Meanwhile, him and Todoroki are fighting some other guy. I think in the subtitles they called him Death Row Convict Escaped Moonfish, so I'm just gonna assume that his name is Moonfish. So he has some sort of quirk with his teeth, and, like, they're stretched out and they look metal and shit, and I'm just like, oh, that's not cool. So after that, they show us like a brief shot of Todoroki and Bakugo, which I don't know. I felt like I would have liked to seen a little bit more of. I'm gonna go ahead and explain what Deku does for the rest of the episode. So the rest of the episode, Deku is trying to get to Bakugo because he's trying to protect his friend side, the League of Villains. Don't fucking take him or potentially kill him, because all they know is that he's the target. He's the target currently. So, wah, right? So later on, he's running through the forest. He's trying to get the Bakugo, and I forget the guy's name. I literally saw what his name was, and then I forgot it. Again, I apologize for being ignorant and not remembering names, or not knowing names. But he's the guy that can like have multiple arms through like his back or like his arms and shit. He can have multiple limbs essentially, right? Almost, right? So he was with the character who has Dark Shadow. I forgot his name too. I fucking sorry. I'm such an idiot. I think it's Fumikage. I think that's what it is. That's what his first name is, and that's what I'm going to refer to him as. So basically, Fumikage's Dark Shadow, his quirk, it basically his quirk, Dark Shadow, it becomes more powerful and out of control depending if he's in a darker kind of like area or situation. And in this case, Dark Shadow is basically out of control and he can't control him properly. So, we have to deal with fucking Dark Shadow. And the episode ends off kind of threatening, kind of menacing, and it looked cool. It looked cool, don't get me wrong, but it was kind of menacing seeing Dark Shadow kind of like not how he always is anymore. So all while that's happening, Tetsutsu, I think that's how you pronounce his name, he has the quirk Steel, and then Kendo, who has Big Fist, right? That's her quirk. They're from class B, class 1B, and they're going after the guy who has the kind of like who's conjuring the mist in the forest. I think his name is Mustard. It's a very odd name. Some of these characters have very odd names, but they're essentially going after him, right? So the whole time he's hiding in the gas, right? And the closer that they get to the person who has the quirk active, the denser it is. So he's basically hiding there, and the whole time Tetsu is trying to go after him. Just he's kind of being retarded. He's not being very smart in terms of combat. But finally, Kendo, the girl, she uses her quirk, Big Fist, and because they're gigantic fucking fist, she can create uncontrollable winds that's blowing off the gas, which is making it thinner. So that way, Tetsu is going to be able to go after the guy who can control the mist, and he knocks him out. So I thought that was really cool, and I thought it was different. They have a guy who can control gas. I guess it was different, because if they were able to, if they breathed into gas, they would get passed out, and they wouldn't be able to do anything, right? And they could potentially get killed. So the whole time, Tetsu is he had a gas mask, but it got shot off because yes, the guy had a fucking gun and it got shot off, and the whole time he can't fucking breathe, and it's just not working. And the gas actually warns the user of where they at, where they're doing, etc., etc. So it was kind of an interesting fight, and it was different from normal. I actually kind of enjoyed it. It was pretty cool. And that's pretty much the the rest of the episode. And I kind of want to see what happens more with Dark Shadow, because it looked really cool. It looked really cool. It was very menacing. Honestly, it was very scary. And I don't know. The episode was really fun. It was fun to watch. There's obviously a lot of intense shit happening right now because the students are having to deal with villains once more. After all the other bullshit with fucking Stain, the hero killer. So we're gonna have to wait and see what happens next episode next week. So hopefully we get a little bit more of that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video here so I can then watch the next episode of Persona 5, record that, and get that video along with this video tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow. And all throughout tonight, I'm gonna use it as an excuse to, stay up all night and the rest of tomorrow, so that way I can not only fix my sleep schedule, but potentially watch either Dragon Ball or Naruto, all of it, in Japanese, like how I feel like I should have done it from the beginning, but because I was stubborn, I watched it in English dub. So, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and find a good thumbnail for this video so I can go ahead and get it ready for tomorrow. I'm gonna edit the video today and then I'm gonna post it tomorrow. So, or depending on what time it is, I'll get it out maybe later tonight. So, anyways, that's the end of the video. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to leave a like, and if you are new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button for more videos just like this. I'll see you guys next time in the next video. I'm out. Peace.